Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Fix Your B.S, where we talk about belief systems and how those belief systems really create the life that you have in 5 major areas in your relationships, your career and business, your health, your faith, and your finances or money. And we dive in with people who are very successful in one or more of those areas. And today we got somebody that has done some amazing things. So let me read his bio because it's got some amazing stuff. You got to listen to this bio. It's ridiculous. All right. So Jamar Jones, he's a business owner, a speaker, and an author of the book, Change Your Circle, Change Your Life, which is what I always tell everybody and all of my viewers and all of my listeners, that you have to get around people. So change your circle, change your life. He's a visionary who believes in leadership and subscribes to the notion that we can all connect with each other in a relatable way. From a thriving music career performing for thousands to managing IT professionals, Jamar's experience inspired him to establish his own branding and media agency, Forever Media. Now, 6 years later and 11 employees strong, Jamar models consistency and a strong work ethic to his team. He's the first African-American small business owner to rent out sports arenas for the Lead the Movement Business Conference. This conference supported community and created collaborations with businesses and leaders to propel diversity initiates using the power of entertainment. Diversity initiates. I said that wrong. My bad. He's been featured on major radio stations, worked with companies like BMW, Red Bull, VaynerX, and created a brand of an audience of over 40,000 people. His desire is to surround himself with good people who challenge him to excel every day, and that's what excites him and empowers him. Jamar is proud to serve others as a beacon for excellence. His philosophies and intentional action have changed the landscape of his life and the lives of others. 50% mindset meets 50% action. Change your circle and change your life. What an intro, Jamar. Thank you for being here, my friend.
Oh, my God. And that's actually the outdated one, too. Oh, my God, man. Thank you so much, Dr. G, for having me on here, man. It's incredible, man. I mean, this is what it's all about. We got a chance to kick it in Vegas, and, that was a whole experience in itself. Just meeting incredible people. So super, super excited to be here.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, yeah, that was a great time in Vegas. You were with me. We were doing the Dave Meltzer thing. And we had a great conversation, man, after dinner and stuff. That was one of my favorite conversations. And you showed me some amazing videos of you in front of crowds, just controlling them. That was awesome. Just so tell me about your artistry and how you got into that and how you got into where you are now. Just go through that history. I think everybody would be interested to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, music is really my first love, man. I mean, it's the fabric of who I am. It's my brand. It's my essence. And music, I fell in love into music when I was just probably like 10 years old. Really fell into actually writing first, and then it kind of slowly got into more of hip hop. And more into that space. And then I'm one of those individuals that once I get lasered in on something, it's hard to pull me away. I'm just determined, little stubbornness, probably get that from my grandpa. And I put everything into it. So I actually, once I found the love of music, I started to really go head first into that area. Of course, it was a grind in the beginning, just developing a sound, developing your own talent, who you are. Of course, in the beginning, I'm just mimicking every other artist. I had no original sound. And then eventually I developed my own, and then, kind of fast forward into my early 20s, I was performing for thousands, opened up for T.I., Snoop Dogg, Keisha Cole, Common, Bone Thugs and Harmony. List goes on and on. Did 2 tours, one in the Midwest, one on the East Coast. On peak, I was doing about 100 shows a year, and it was incredible, man. I mean, music has been something I've always loved, and I just apply that to what I'm doing today with that entertainment angle and just that grind and grit that I learned in the music business.
Yeah, man, I love that grind and grit. That's true. And the music industry, it's interesting because I wrote music for a while as well. As you can see, my guitars, I used to go to Nashville a lot. And you don't realize it's an industry because you really start with that passion and that love. And I really didn't realize how that played such a key role and is very similar to the entrepreneurship side. because you start with this passion and this love, and you're trying to help people, and you want to put this content and this information out there. And then you got to turn it into a business, and you're like, wait a minute, business, that's a different skill set. That's an industry. That's something that I wasn't even thinking of. I just thought I'd put out some great content, which is what a lot of people do social media wise, or put out some great music, and it's just going to make me famous, and it's just going to be, it'll be gravy.
Right.
That ain't the way it works. We know that, huh?
That is not the way it works. But I always say that if somebody, especially within, I would say hip hop, or if you're even in a band and you're leading that band and really, putting that that effort to get out there, if somebody can do that, there will be a great entrepreneur. They have that fabric that's already built in within them. And they know how to, take a no. They know how to get rejected again and again and again. And if you can get through that, especially, I feel like music business is the hardest industry in business, like far. There's so many snakes in the grass. There's so many just deceptive people that are there. And it's such a big gap of like, either you're really winning at the top echelon of the music business, or you're scraping and you're the starving artist, right?
Yeah.
So it's such a big, but entrepreneurship, I mean, you can learn so much because you're learning all aspects with, pushing your music career.
Yeah. And it's cool though that you went through that and you really learned lessons. That's one of the things I teach a lot is it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Somebody said something one time on one of my masterminds, and they said, hey, I'm just working at McDonald's. I was like, you don't need to be working at McDonald's. You need to be learning how the McDonald's system works while you're there. You want to learn about what you like and what you don't like about the system that's in place. Because if you can learn how the McDonald's system works, they have 40,000 restaurants across the world. I mean, if you can learn that, then you could replicate it similarly. And people don't realize that a lot. So what are some things that you pulled out of that music industry and the grind that you were in that you were able to implement into your current entrepreneurship journey that you're on?
Yeah. And actually you hit it right on the head with learning how things work. So especially when I was booking all those shows, I'm figuring out kind of how these establishments work, who's the decision maker, how do they, really gain a profit for their business, what really makes their decision making from like, hey, I want to bring this guy in, to, hey, let's pass on them, from the branding, from the marketing, around like, how do you actually gain attention and gain attraction for people to even come out to your show? When you're actually there, how do you captivate the audience so that way you're memorable? There's so many different things. I actually, when I was booking all the shows, I had a giant spreadsheet of every single college in America, that I was just bouncing around from every single college, but I was making the calls. So I had to learn kind of, how do I organize this? How do I make a system? How do I make sure that when I'm ready to make calls, I'm getting the most out of the time to be able to bang through the list and actually get results from it. So it was quite a lot of learning lessons developed through there. And it wasn't, but once I kind of broke out of I'm just the artist mindset, that's when actually I had all the results. So it's a very interesting thing. But for artists to break out of that, they're just the artist and I want to create art and that's all I want to do. Sometimes it's hard for them. But it's so necessary for you to get the real results, because at the end of the day, even if you get signed or something happens for you, you always hear about the one-hit wonders or, people that just, they don't understand the business side of it and they get screwed on a deal. That's why is because they're not looking at it from a holistic approach.
Yeah, well, they're not looking at all sides. And you just said something very profound that people probably missed is the belief of who they are. Well, I'm just the artist. Well, no, you're not. You're building a brand. Look at I love. I have some of my favorite artists in the industry. Jay-Z's one of them, and he says, "I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman." Right?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite lines.
Love that line.
Because but that puts it into perspective. You're a business. You are. You. That's why you have to have standards, and you have to have the things that you are willing to do and not willing to do, and understand what those things are in order to develop the life you want to develop. And if you have this belief that I'm only, or I'm just, or I'm not enough, then you will not be the person you need to become to develop the lifestyle or the life that you want. You know, you look at all these social media and people's accounts and stuff, and they're standing in front of a Lamborghini or whatever. And it's funny to me because I get it. I understand. I'm like, most of the time, those people are just faking it. But a lot of people will look at them and go, oh, I want that lifestyle. Yeah. Well, you can have that lifestyle. You just have to do the right activities in order to get that lifestyle.
Right.
Secondly, the wealthiest people I know aren't driving around in Lamborghinis.
Right.
They're reinvesting their money back into. Now, when you get to the upper echelon, hundreds and hundreds of million, okay, then they might start getting Lamborghinis. But until they have so much cash flow, they don't even know what to do with it. Most of the time, they don't do that. A lot of the people that I know are what Robert Kiyosaki called looking good but going nowhere.
Yeah, 100%.
I'd rather look good and be going somewhere, but I don't want to overspend. I want to reinvest and then go crazy with your cash flow as it comes in passively. So, I mean, what are some things that you're doing right now that, man, you're just like so lit up about and so excited about that that you can share with everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking about that right before this podcast, man. I was like, dude, I got a lot of plates spinning, all in the good directions. But you know, first we got our second annual Lead the Movement Business Conference that we're putting on here in about 2.5 months. Not sure when this is going to get released, but that's on September 29th. It'd be a little bit over 1,000 attendees. We're already solidifying the speakers and got a career fair attached to it, esports, supporting 10 nonprofits. We got it at the Summerfest grounds. So that's in Milwaukee. That's one of the largest music festivals in the world is Summerfest. And it's actually hosted in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is kind of crazy. A lot of people don't know that, but it's kind of like that South by Southwest vibe, but in the Midwest. And so we have it right there on the grounds, beautiful stage, a lot of space. And so it's all coming together. Great sponsors. You know, we got U.S. Bank, Northwestern Mutual, Generac, Summerfest Tech, Red Bull, list goes on and on. And so we're just, you know, I'm really fired up about it because it's the second one. So this one's a lot easier to talk about because I've done it once already. So people are like, oh yeah, this is really going to happen. And it's also, I can see people, since I've done it before, they're like, wow, he's doing it again. And their belief system into what's possible, it's like, they're like, oh man, this is really going to happen. This is really innovative. This is different. And when people get tapped into that, it's like, you know, opportunities just start popping up left and right for everybody involved. And it's just great. I cannot wait for that conference. And I'm sure I can't wait for it to be over. Because event planning is crazy.
When you run an event, man, people don't realize how much activity happens with an event, especially over 1,000 people. That's a huge undertaking. Yeah, you said it right though, man. You said the belief systems, what you believe is your reality. John Maxwell talks about that a lot with the belief lid in his 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Man, your belief lid is the cap of what is possible for you. So, you know, if somebody says, hey, you need to go out and make $10,000 this month, and you 100% do not believe it's possible, then it's not possible. Yeah. It's not going to happen. Yeah. But like you said, once you do it once, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can do this again. Like you said, your second one, you're like, oh, now everybody's like, oh, this is happening. This is for real. And that builds that momentum, which is another one of those laws, the law of Big Mo. Yeah. So implementing those things are awesome. So what is your most exciting, like the thing you're looking forward to the most in that event? I mean, what's the funnest part for you, I guess?
I think the funnest part is just going to be that real proof of concept at the end. You know, like, so once after we did the last one at the arena, so we did the Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee. It was absolutely crazy, magical. But people were transformed after it. And so I think with this one, we're a lot more targeted on what the goals are for this conference. So I'm really looking forward to like just that the next day and all the kind of social media posts, the messages, the emails, just like what is that transformation for people? from how many people secured jobs or had job opportunities, how many people got new connections or business relationships, how many people had their mindset changed and felt transformed about what's even possible, new ways to approach business, just or even just a new way how people see Milwaukee. I'm bringing some really good attention to the city that normally probably wouldn't get that kind of attention from a business perspective, and it's fun. It's really exciting, and also to show people, from especially being a Black entrepreneur, just showing people what's possible too from that standpoint of like, this is what you can do when you really put your mind to something. You really think the process out and say, hey, I can actually achieve this. Like you just said with your mindset, if you don't believe in it, it's the belief starts first and then you have to achieve it. So absolutely incredible, man. It's I can't wait for it. It's one of the many things I'm doing at the moment, but this is like the Taj Mahal of an event.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about your book, man. Change Your Circle, Change Your Life. Where'd that come from? And what's that about? I know what it's about. People that are listening to this do not. So tell them what it's about and what the insights they should get from that. And then also, when you're in the middle of doing that, click the link. People need to click the link. Make sure you go pick it up. I say this all the time, man. There's $1 million ideas in a $20 book. Like, all you got to do is open the book and implement the things that you learn that resonate with you. So tell me a little bit about that. Change your circle, change your life.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, Dr. G is a real one, because this guy bought the book right when I told him. He's like, I'm buying it. And I also left a testimonial right there on the spot. I was like, wow, that's never happened before. So leaving that lasting impression was great, man. I mean, it was just, I tell people like till this day about that. But Change Your Circle, Change Your Life is all about a few things. So it's unlocking your self-awareness of who you are, because I feel like a lot of people are plugged into that matrix. And once they get unplugged, they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. I actually have choices. I have what's possible. I actually have somewhere a direction of where I want to go in my life. And then you have to evaluate your current circle. So what situation are you in today? And then how do you get into new ones? And how do you get into new circles, new possibilities, and start to change your circle so that way it starts to change really your life? Because as you start to, even when we were in Vegas, like that was a moment. I'm changing my circle. I'm starting to meet incredible people, and opportunities start to pop up. Other things, people may tell you something that you were like, wow, I didn't realize that. I probably should make that change. And all of a sudden you go down a whole different path. So the book is really a lot of my own personal experiences, but also it's actionable steps that people can take right then and there while reading the book. So that way they can really see change. And so I think that if you really follow every single actionable step within the book, it's impossible for you not to change your life, just simply by the fact if you really do every single action item on there, you're probably going to look crazy to some, but you're going to see some change. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's almost like if I was like to hop in a car and just drive across country, just by the experiences that I would get from that trip. I mean, at some point I'm going to have some life-changing moment of something of an experience, So it's like impossible. As long as I go in that direction and I don't know what's even in front of me, but by experiences, you're going to have some change.
Well, isn't that that's really the purpose of life, is experience things, do some stuff, especially if it's like, I always say, coming up within your soul, just like, it's like, man, I really want to do this. And then you stop yourself from fear. You're like, well, what will other people think? What will they say? And I always say it, man, nothing changes until you change. You have to emotionally, mentally, physically start to change your actions, your thought process, your emotions, and then your life starts to change. So nothing changes until you change. You have to make that decision. And decision one, a pretty inexpensive and very simple one, is pick up a book. Even the digital version, that is very inexpensive. Step two is open the book and start reading. And step three is implement the things, and you'll start to see change. Don't be afraid, man. Just get rid of the fear, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, I mean, you've got Forever Media.
Yep.
You've got Change Your Circle, Change Your Life. You've got this lead the movement.
Yep.
Yeah, lead the movement in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So you got a lot going on, like you said. But how do you get rid of the fear? How do you get rid of that false evidence that appears real, and when things tell you to stop, or that, I don't know if that's going to be able to work? How do you do that?
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, and this is a learned thing too. So a lot of people may look at others and say, hey, Jamar and Dr. G, they look fearless, like they're just like nothing stops them. It's a trained and learned habit. That's really what it is. We will always experience some level of fear, no matter what it is. I mean, you may go into a bigger endeavor. You may go into something with a new experience within family. Maybe it's within friends. Maybe it's with your spouse. There might be something that, it's always going to change. What gets me to break through fear is looking at the other side of it. The other side of it is a goal. And if you want to accomplish the goal, fear will always be that barrier, be that wall that's in between you and the goal. And so you have to have a strong why. Why are you doing it? Is it for your family? Is it for your spouse? Is it for just like, hey, I want to prove to everybody, hey, I can do this? Is it for a better lifestyle? Is it for legacy? Is it like everybody has different whys of how they make decisions, but you have to have a very strong why to punch through it, to first of all acknowledge fear, because a lot of people, they feel it and then they get paralyzed, or even worse, they run out the other way, the other direction. But you have to recognize and like, oh, this is that moment. I'm punching through. I have to go through it. And you just have to take a step forward and just go through it anyways to get to the other side and have that goal. Because that's the only way. I mean, you're never going to be fearless. I feel like you have to choose yourself and not choose fear.
Yeah, and you're right. Courage is doing the thing that is necessary in the face of fear. So we always teach here in the Fix Your B.S. world that fear is something that you should be able to use. It's just telling you something. You're like, oh, this is a new venture. This is something I've never experienced before. So you could be excited about that. Like, this is going to be, interesting, and let's see what this experience is like. Or you can just do what you just said, which is crumble and run away.
Right.
And so, it's a habit. Like you just said, man, it's a habit. You just got to create the habit of going, I am not going to allow fear to stop me. I'm going to learn from it. And then I'm going to implement the next thing. And the more you implement the thing that you're afraid of, guess what? You stop becoming afraid of it because you can predict the outcome. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. So tell me, well, tell everybody, first of all, where, click the link, obviously, but tell everybody about the book, where they can get it, how they can find more out about you and be a part of your world.
Yeah, I definitely click the link. For everybody that gets the book, I would say probably for the first 20 people, shoot me a message when you get the book, and I'll be able to also give you access to my training, which is Change Your Circle, how to connect with your ideal customers and meet influential people. I've literally packaged everything I know right into this training, and so first 20 people that gets that, I'll definitely shoot that over to you. And that's just more of an incentive for you to actually take action and do it. And to get connected, the best way is through LinkedIn. I'm always on LinkedIn. It's a great platform for me. So shoot me a message. I definitely reply. And I always tell people that a lot of people hear these kind of podcasts and stuff, and they don't actually send the message. Shoot a message. You never know what's actually going to happen when you do that. And that's kind of the first step of changing your circle. You have to take some level of action. And a lot of people are, like, well, I don't know what to offer them. I don't know what to talk about. Hey, just shoot your shot, send a message. You never know what's going to happen. And a lot of incredible things. And I can definitely get you plugged in. I love helping people. I love connecting people and just giving referrals.
That's awesome, man. Well, so everybody click the link. First 20 people that get the actual book, take a screenshot of your actual receipt and then upload it to LinkedIn. And my man, Jamar, that was awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah. And he'll give you access to his free training.
Yeah.
any final words that you'd like to say to everybody? I mean, some great golden nuggets, and obviously the book, man, that's a really good resource, but also the training as well. But anything else you'd like to say? You know, if you had one advice to get rid of or to improve belief systems, what would you tell somebody?
Yeah, I think that beliefs, first of all, it's incredible work that you're doing because it's so needed to do this. You know, I used to be a very angry individual when I was about from like 15 to about 24, 25. I saw counselors, I saw therapists, I saw priests, I mean, it was everything to get me to change that mindset from being such an angry. I was just pissed off at the world. I really, I really was. And so what I would say is the best thing that you can do is repetitively look at where do you want to go and write down who you want to be. Write that down every single day and literally put it in front of you. Have it when you wake up. Have it when you go to the bathroom. Have it all. I mean, especially depending on how deep the in the darkness you are, to change that mindset, you need to see it every single day because that's what's going to program your mind to actually make better decisions when you're faced with different choices. Because you have to make the best choices for yourself. And that's also why I say to surround yourself with positive people and the right people, because also through that day-to-day activity, you need to be able to have all this positive energy going to you. So that way you just make the right decisions to put you on the right path to ultimately change your life.
Wow, Jamar, that was amazing. That is so true. Write down who you want to be, take action toward it. That is awesome. Well, Jamar, thanks again for being on here. You're doing some incredible things. Really appreciate it. Let that be like you said, one of the things that really touched you or that you remembered the most was when I immediately bought the book, immediately left a review. Said, I know it was a video review too.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm here with my man, Jamar. Dude, you got to buy this book. It's awesome. And that's what people need to do. If it feels right, take action. That's just you take action. So appreciate you being on here. Like I said, everybody click the link. Make sure you upload the receipt up to LinkedIn and get that free training. Jamar's going to help you out. And I really appreciate you giving that to all of our guests, first 20 of them for sure. Like I said, everybody, my name is Dr. Greg Percy, also known as Dr. G with Fix Your B.S, where we talk about belief systems in your relationships, business and career, your health, your faith, and your finances / money. And Jamar's playing at a high level at all those things. And I appreciate your insights into those things. And we will see you soon at the next live event, I hope. But everybody, make sure you click the links and follow Jamar. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you.